On a January morning in Old Town, it's hard to find anything resembling hope. But if you look closely enough, you'll see it.
My name's Velma Carter.
Velma sits outside the office of Street Roots, a non-profit newspaper sold by homeless people, like her.
And that's barely enough for gas and food.
She's learned to get by with the basics after growing up homeless and in foster care.
It's been a hell of 26 years. I've been lost in the system.
With no luck finding a full-time job, let alone affordable housing. And it's not for a lack of trying.
I've put in 43 different applications this month to jobs.
Most overnight shelters don't work for Velma, since she doesn't travel alone.
This is Little Ghost. He's 7 months old. He's a Himalayan Siamese. I'm alive still. It feels like there's no way for us to get off the street.
Well, I'm gonna give you my card. Do you have a cell phone?
Yes.
Can you give me your number?
Of course.
Let's stay in touch. Maybe I can help you.
Thanks.
We met Velma in deep southeast behind a vacant corner store where she hides her RV.
Go ahead and shut the door if you could, or the cats will run out. Not the best, but it's home. I'm the rich homeless, you could say. I'm part of the 1% of homeless that have stuff that ain't in a tent.
An advantage that comes with its own set of challenges.
A broken stove that can't be used, the only broom I own, and what little food I actually have available.
Not to mention a leaky roof, an engine that only runs on occasion.
I stick the key in and it sometimes starts.
And a broken lock, making it easy for unwanted visitors.
And that's honestly a fear of mine, is coming home and having someone in here again. I've had that already once.
It's not just people she fends off, but rodents too.
That's what I have a hatchet for. I've chopped a few of them. If I ever do get the stove up and running or get a stove that works, I know how to make a rat stew.
As the weather turns cold, her days are dictated by the need to find heat.
I wake up about 4 a.m. in the morning because that's usually about the time the generator shuts off.
And every penny she makes goes toward turning it back on.
I want to have a stable house, somewhere that I don't have to pay $20 a day for 15 hours worth of heat.
Later that day, we called a transitional shelter in southeast Portland that we knew had openings. A few weeks later, they agreed to meet Velma.
Oh boy, my hair is atrocious today. I'm just gonna follow you.
Matt Huff is the head of Agape Village.
And I'm gonna go get an application.
It's a low-income housing program run by a local church.
Well, let me just tell you about Agape Village. It's a transitional shelter, so it's 12 months. We have a case manager on site that you would work with for housing.
Thank God. I've been trying to get in with a lot of different places lately for that.
And so we'll have you fill out the application. We'll do a background check.
It took weeks for the results, only to find out Velma didn't pass due to an outstanding warrant in Clackamas County on a misdemeanor charge of resisting arrest.
Oh, my Lord, don't get me started on that.
By now, it's late spring. Velma has reached a breaking point.
But because of my open court case right now, nowhere wants to take me.
What does that feel like?
Lost in the system. I can't get off the street. I can't stay on the street. What do? I'm not saying I'm going to, but I see why people turn to drugs.
This day was particularly hard for her.
I still haven't stopped crying.
She had just moved into a friend's new RV in the Northwest Industrial area.
It didn't leak, it had heating, it had cooling, it had a working stove.
It burned down 1 month later. We were there the day after the fire as she described what happened and sifted through the debris.
Looking for a fire extinguisher, hoping I can save something, just something of our lives.
Velma and her friends moved back into her old RV and found a new parking spot off MLK. This as talks of stricter homeless policies were heating up inside Portland City Hall. Council passed a daytime ban on camping, RVs included. We made sure Velma knew.
I'm terrified of it. If they're going to be banning that, how soon till they ban RVs?
Yeah, so RVs are included in this ban.
Oh boy.
They're telling us to literally just disappear. There's nowhere to disappear to.
The hunt for where to park was on. They went to Northeast 33rd Drive, a street lined with RVs and a deep-rooted homeless community. Velma didn't stay long before moving back to MLK, adding to the growing camps there and frustrations from neighboring business owners.
We keep the doors locked, you saw, every single day. For years, we've never unlocked the doors. I've called 311 a bunch of times just to have it cleaned up.
It never was cleaned up. Velma stayed there through the summer, when she told us she had big news.
But yeah, this here is little, if it's a boy, I'm gonna name him Cody with a K. And if it's a girl, Angelica. I'm 3 months pregnant as of the 3rd.
That meant she had 6 more months to try and find housing.
If I cannot get into housing to take care of my kid properly, I'm gonna have to give it up. Well, I've said it once, I'll say it again, the system lost me.
Velma, very nice to meet you.
We brought another outreach worker to Velma, this time from Join, a nonprofit that helps homeless people into housing.
So what are your goals? What do you want to...
I just want to get into something that I can take care of my kid in.
There's definitely a place inside that is
I'm hoping.
suitable and will be...
I got 6 months to go.
Yeah. Let me just get your phone number.
Of course.
And then I'm going to call you. She's very, very housing ready. Just needs a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance. Yeah, through the process. Navigation.
3 months later, the day she'd been waiting for finally arrived.
Tomorrow I get keys to my new apartment. When I first met you, I was in the mindset, I'm gonna be just another drug addict, always homeless, never able to do anything. I'm gonna have to go into drugs in order to deal with the mental consequences of it. And then you showed me that there is a path, there is a light. Sorry about the mess again. It's still move-in time, so I'm waiting on getting a garbage can and things like that. Yeah. There's washer and dryer in unit. Like, look at this. I have done like 15, 20 loads through it already. It is so nice.
And it keeps getting better.
There is a fully fenced-in backyard.
1 year's rent is covered thanks to a family grant.
This one here is going to be the baby's bedroom.
After that, Velma will pay about $400 a month. And while working with Join, she cleared her warrant in court and pled guilty to the resisting arrest charge.
The first time I walked in with the key, I was like, this is actually mine. I can set the rules.
As opposed to life in her RV.
I can't even go in the RV no more. It's the energies, they're different. It's just a dirtier, grungier, harder thing.
What do you feel when you're here?
Alive. Like I can thrive now instead of just survive.
But she's not leaving everything from life on the streets.
The determination to thrive, even in that hardship.
A hardship turned into hope.
It's no longer my home. This is home.
Blair Best, KGW News.
All right, so I'm joined now with Velma's outreach worker from Join, Elliot Thompson. And Elliot, something that stood out to me when I first met Velma was her willingness and desire to get off the streets. What was it like when you first met her?
So Velma was one of the first people I ever worked with, and she really taught me how to do my job. She has so much energy, and that helped me realize that there are people who are so motivated and have been working for so long to get off the streets, and all they need sometimes is a catalyst. And so it was just a really wonderful experience to get to know her and her community and how she fit into that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. And this isn't the first time we've worked with Join. Last year, Join helped us house a woman named Tara, and that took just a matter of days. Just certain circumstances led to that. But you know, it seems, we've worked with a lot of housing programs, and Join, my experience with them is it's fast, it's right. Sufficient, right. And you guys have access to a lot of housing. So what makes you guys different?
So first off, I have a couple of things. We're low barrier, so whether or not you've been incarcerated, whether or not you've been addicted, you're still deserving of help. And so we work with any population. On top of that, we have housing units that we can use, that we own and operate, which means that we can place people when they're ready. And then the way that we work is about building personal relationships and then working specifically towards giving them autonomy. And so the confluence of those things allows us to move quickly, but also to make it sustainable, because we find what it is they want to do and help them do it.
And speaking of Velma, what's next for her?
So she's due in the next 3 weeks, and so we're making plans to how are we going to get her to the hospital, who's going to pick up the phone, who's going to take her. I'm really lucky she asked if she could call me, and she asked me to be there. And so have her kid, make sure that her home is clean and safe, that we continue to work with her, help her meet her needs, and you know, build towards her future.
I want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Yeah.
And we wish the best for Velma.
Yeah, we all do.
Thank you, Blair. How about that? Inspirational story. We'd love to hear what you're thinking about that right now after seeing Blair's story. There are a lot of levels to that journey, from homeless to housing. What stood out to you? You can email us. The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090.